The rest of the games are the 12 o'clock games. The Colts beat the Patriots in a low-scoring game, 10-6. Mac Jones had a ball that was intercepted at the end. The Pats dropped to 2-8. The Colts are 5-5. Here's reactions from Bill Belcheck and Stephen A. Smith on Bill Belichick's job.
I think it's over. I think that ultimately Bill Belcheck will be gone. I think that he will be in either the nation's capital or he'll be coaching the Los Angeles Chargers because God knows they need a new head coach. There's no question about that. That's just the way that it goes. The reality is that it's a bad situation. I'm looking at the video right there, Bill O'Brien going on Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been god-awful. There's no doubt about that. But I do think it's important to bring this up, D.O. and Shannon. I think the city of Boston and that Massachusetts area is tired. The Foxborough area is tired of Bill Belcheck. Here's what I mean by that. He's a 6-time champion. Let me explain. He's a 6-time champion, and we know what he brings to the table. We know there's nothing to question about his football acumen, him as a coach. They don't give a damn about the press conferences and how he has nothing to say. Here's what they do give a damn about. You expedited the exit of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because you thought that you knew it all. And that is something, it's the one thing, that area, I believe, and I don't know this. I've had people that see me at the Boston Celtics game, stuff like that. They've said this, but I mean, they don't speak for everybody. But I believe them when they say this. That is the lone thing that is unforgivable when it comes to Bill Belichick. You can struggle, but your lack of evaluation with players. I mean, only drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. One was a kicker, for crying out loud. One was a punter. I mean, you see this. But in the end, all I'm saying is what really, really resonates with everybody, guys, is that Tom Brady didn't have to be as gone as early as he was. You expediting that exit, combined with the success that he enjoyed thereafter, and how you have struggled, I think they're looking at it and they're saying, look, we've had enough. It's time to start a new era.
I probably, like you guys, love country music. One of my favorite guys is this guy named Parker McCollum. You love country music, right?
I ain't gonna say I love.
He's got this song.
That's all I got for you.
He's got this song, "Burn It Down."
Pause. Did you hear what he said?
I didn't hear what he said.
Shannon said, "I'm from the country." That's all I got for you. I just had to put that on pause for a second there.
Let me give you a song.
Okay.
Shannon.
Oh, my Lord.
Parker McCollum, Burn It Down. Okay, I want you to go play that later. That's what New England needs to do.
Burn it down.
Burn it down. Burn it.
Yeah.
You got to do the whole thing in New England.
Yes.
And I think the question for New England is, do they want, because it has to be a total rebuild. Do they want to do that with Coach Belichick?
No. He's got to go. He's got to go. It was his ego. His ego. It was what he wanted to show. I am the reason, because it's not good enough to get 50-50 of the credit. I want to show that these championships came through me. I selected all the players. I put the game plan in. It was me talking to Tom Brady the night before the game, yada, yada, yada. And he, as Stephen A. said, he expedited it. They could have easily just been struggling this year. I don't believe they'd have had the pitfalls that they've gone through over the last 3 years with Tom Brady being there, because even though he wasn't the same Brady as was his first 20 years, but he was still better than Mac Jones. He was still better than Cam. He's better than Bailey Zappi and anything else that they trotted out there. And they sped that process up. And you're right, Stephen A. New England, the fan base, they're never going to forgive him about that, because Tom Brady is their native son.
That's right.
He was supposed to go out on his own terms. Coach Belichick says no. And I believe Mr. Kraft is going to do that.
In college basketball, Mizzou advances to 2-1. SIU drops to 1-2. 68-50 was the final. Finishes with 20. Kansas State beats South Dakota State 91-68. Cam Carter finishes with 25 for Kansas State. Tonight, Kentucky will play Kansas 6.5 as a line. Here's more with John Calipari's job. 9:30 tip-off. Kansas is favored by 6.5. That's Sam Vaughn Sports. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Calipari's deal. I don't see Kentucky. Only Kyle Boone has Kentucky as a Final Four team. Where are we at on that contract? Are we getting to a point that Kentucky fans, if there's another disappointing season, would be, there's boosters that would say, all right, let's write the check and move on?
I think that this season was disastrous, and let's identify what that would be. Missing the NCAA tournament, that's a disaster for the number one recruiting class in the country. Based on when combined with the fact that they haven't been to a Final Four since 2015. John Calipari's now coached 8 straight years without going to a Final Four. He never coached 8 straight years at UMass without going to a Final Four. Never coached 8 straight years at Memphis without going to a Final Four. Now, he went to a bunch early at Kentucky, but my point is, this is quite literally, and I was surprised by this, and I've covered this man's entire career, this is quite literally the longest period of time John Calipari has ever been a college coach without going to a Final Four. Obviously, the pandemic season was terrible for them. They were just okay up and down last season. There's real fan pressure on him, and it could turn into job pressure because if they decide to fire him today, tomorrow, or at the end of the season, it is going to cost them tens of millions of dollars, lots of money. But when you are running a multi-million-dollar business like Kentucky basketball, you've got to factor in what it costs you to continue to employ somebody your fans no longer believe in, even when he enrolls the number one recruiting class in the country. I think it's interesting just to look at the AP poll. In 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in that range, anytime John Calipari, Kentucky, enrolled the number one recruiting class in the country, they were going to be preseason number 1, number 2, almost always in the top 5. This now, because we're starting to see that age matters more than it ever has, particularly with super seniors because of the COVID years, because teams can load up with seniors or juniors through the transfer portal and have them eligible immediately. We now know that having a bunch of 18-year-olds or first-year freshmen is not ideal in college basketball, and there's a reflection of that in the AP poll. Kentucky enrolled number one recruiting class in the country, probably 2 lottery picks, maybe 2 other first-round picks, and they're in the teens, 15, 16 in that range. People don't believe in it anymore, whether it's Kentucky fans or even folks like me. So I would never rule out that a team with possibly 4 first-round picks could win the NCAA tournament or go to the Final Four. The talent is there, but it has been a long time since John Calipari or anybody else has won anything significant with a roster as young as that Kentucky roster is, and I think that's why most of us believe they can be great, but there's not a whole lot in recent history that suggests they will be as currently constructed.